Hello everyone, welcome back to my next Graphic 45 brand ambassador project, and this time it was to showcase a collection. So I'm going to be going through how I made this album in a box. Now this one was made using Make a Splash, but the collection I'm going to showcase this time is Love Notes, which is one of the new deluxe collector's editions. So it's a re-release of a previous one. So I have actually had this pad in the past, but this is now the collector's edition. So you get a 12 by 12 sheet of stickers, which I've already taken a couple out to prepare for this project. And you also get 3 of 8 sheets this time. So 8, 16, so you get 24 sheets in the collector's edition, which will be plenty to make one of these. So this is the album in a box. Now, I'm going to be going from opening this package to an almost finished album in a box, so I can show you the entire process. I may not stick every little piece down, but I'll show you everything that you'll be able to complete one yourself. Now, I have given it a bit of a twist because you get your album in a box like this. Let me slide off the sleeve. And inside, get it the right way around. Inside, you open it up. It's already got a pocket in it, and it's already got all the album pages. And then this is designed that you take the spine and you flatten it out and you stick it onto the spine of your box. And then when you close it up, the album opens up and it's there. But I'm going to take it literally as an album in a box, and I will do a proper walkthrough of the Make a Splash one. So keep an eye out on my channel on YouTube and I'll show you all this one. So as you open it up, you can see the pocket is here, and this is where the album is. And as you open it up, I've actually turned this into an album. So I've got the box and the album as 2 separate entities. So this then becomes all the pre-made signatures for my mini album, and then the mini album fits in here. So what I did was I used some of my black Graphic 45 chipboard to make a brand new cover for this. So let's get started. So to begin with, I've cut 3 pieces from my black chipboard from Graphic 45, and these are 5 1/8 squares, so we need 2 of those. And then the spine is 5 1/8 by 1 5/8. And that means it'll fit your signatures, but will still fit inside your box. Now I'm going to go for speed, so I'm using some black construction tape. So I get mine here in the UK from Cool Cats Crafts, and it's like a papery textured tape, so you can just tape things straight on. So I'm just placed my spine so it's halfway up my tape, and if you follow my channel, you've seen me do this lots of times. I take my next piece and I line up on my corners and I flip it up and over and stick it on, and that gives me then a little piece of a little gap, to work as our hinge. And then I'm going to do the same the other side. I'm going to place my tape down, bring my spine up. It doesn't have to be straight because most of it's going to be covered anyway. Because these are squares, I'm not too worried about which way around they go. And flip it over. And then when I just open it up, there's a little channel between the two pieces. Then I'm just going to take a little piece of tape just to hide those gaps and to tidy it up a bit. There we go. I'm just going to take my Teflon tool just to burnish it all down. And again on this side, just tidying it up. And that is your cover made in pretty much seconds. Just fold it up, fold that in, and you have a cover. From our box, we're going to take our signatures. And we're going to open it up. We can try and flatten all this out to try and get it nice and flat so we can add our adhesive. There we go. And one thing you want to do is check this middle page has got a little notch on it. So that is the top of your album. Otherwise, all your things are going to fall out. But that's more for decorating later. It wouldn't matter which way around you put it at the moment. So let's add some tape now that we've worked this nice and flat. So I'm going to take some nice strong double-sided tape and attach it all the way up to the edge. And the cover piece, just out of interest, I actually only used, well, less than half a sheet from my 12 by 12 sheet of the grey board. So you can actually get, I got both the covers for both these albums out of one 12 by 12 sheet. So now we're going to remove it. And I am going to add some glue as well. So this glue now is just going to mean I can move it into the right place. So I'm going to, it's going to stop my tape sticking immediately. So it's going to give me a bit of wiggle room if the glue comes out. I think it's not like in this cold weather. Here we go. So it's adding glue up to the edge and down the spine for some strength. Bit of a blob there, so let's just spread it out. And now I'm just going to line this. Now I find it a bit easier to turn it sideways on, so I can look here and here, and I can just judge it so it's going in the center. You haven't got much space top and bottom, it's just a little tiny hair's breadth, but you do have some wiggle room with the pages. Then I'm just going to, now that I'm happy with it, just squash it down. Ooh, I've got some glue on my finger. Luckily, this is a dry, clear glue. Got my Teflon tool so I can get in. And there we have an album ready to go into our album in a box. So that's pretty much the main part of the tutorial, but I thought I'd then show you how I go about covering some pages and showing you some little tips and tricks on how to add some extra photo spaces and things into the album. So let's have a quick look through the Make a Splash one. I said I will do another tutorial just to give more time to show this, but we've got some tuck spots, so I'll show you how to do them. Some extra little photo spaces. Thanks to Carla Lavera for the ideas for these. She's done one in one of her G45 projects. My previously shared paper clips. So it's a covered paper clip made out of some of the leftover pieces. So that means you can add extra photos on this side and on that side. Oh, we have got to flip up. And I'll show you how, well, just talk you through how I can make a magnetic closure as well, so you can add a little magnetic one as well. You see lots of the covered paper clips there. So I said, just a quick view of that one, but I probably will keep this out and keep referring back to that one whilst I make this one. So the box, I'll just measure the side I'm doing, and I'm going to cut my papers a little bit shorter, so it's about 1/8 shorter. So my box is 5 3/8, so I cut my paper at 5 2/8 by just under 5 1/2. So this will be the fun part now, trying to judge what I'm going to put. So I've got this, which I've cut out from the sticker sheet, stuck on some black card and cut around again. So this is going to be my main element. So I think what we'll do is we'll go with this one. It's the top one, so we're not going to go too far. So let's have a look. I'm just going to measure the top again. Measure twice, cut once. It is 5 2/8. Oh, so 5 2/8 is 5 1/4, isn't it? Yeah, 5 1/4. Now, I quite like all this, but once I put that on, I'm going to cover it. No, I'm not. So let's go for that one. So let's measure the paper here. And it was 5, 2, 4, 6, 7 sixteenths. So 5, and then 7 of the little ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's just short of 5 1/2. And just to neaten off the edges, I am going to use my black soot distress ink. It just takes away any paper threads or white core you'll see. Go. Let's just take our glue. Let's hope he's going to behave this time. I'll just take my Teflon tool so I can burnish it all down. So I've decided what my paper is, so I've committed myself now. And you know what, I like that as it is, so I may just use some 3D mount later on and put that there. I'm not going to do it now because it'll be easier to do it afterwards when everything is already stuck on. So we can now use the rest of this paper, hopefully, to cover up some of these sides. Let's move the album out of the way. Give me a little bit of extra space because I am just doing the box at the moment. So the box height, the papers are going to be just under 2. So it's 1 7/8. So let's cut these at 1 7/8. So it's just under 2. So there's 2, 1 7/8. So I'm going to cut. Get 2 out of this one. And then the long edges are going to be 5 1/4. So 5 1/4 and 5 1/4. So let's just stick these on. Make sure I've got them the correct way up. Okay, those two sides done. And now we're going to do these ones. So the height is going to be the same, which was 1 7/8. Just double checking. Yes, 1 7/8. And this time the width of this one is going to be almost 5 1/4 as well. So the box itself is a square, but it's a bit longer because of the flap. That's what it was. So I should be able to get these out of one strip. So 1 7/8, 5 1/4, and oh, let's have a bit red in. I'll trim off that bit. Just keeping that red in, just add a little bit of extra colour this time. So I've managed to cover the whole of the front of this box using just one of my 12 by 12 papers. Oh, let's make sure I got this the right way up. And there we go. So here on this side, we have got that magnet there, so we've got a bit of a bump, so I'm just making sure it's attached around that. And we have our box covered, but I've got this little bit here, which I've still got all this from my 12 by 12 sheet, so I could use that. Or I could use one of these strips from my sticker sheets. Or find a piece from the border strip. Now, this has been cut off a little bit because I've already made a covered paper clip using the keyboardy piano keys. So let's see if I can get something out of this. Or are they too short? I could add the piano keys and maybe a sticker sheet. Or shall I just take the sticker sheet straight off? Let's go for it. Or shall I use that one? so many decisions. Do you know what? I can always come back later and see what I've got to finish off that lip. And I said then, it's up to you then how you're going to decorate it. And I think with this one, I'm going to keep it simple. With this one, I did 3D, stuck that onto black and 3D mounted, cut out some extra shells because I had a plain paper. This time I haven't got quite as plain a paper. So I think what I'll do is keep it simple. But I'll come back to that at the end. So let's move on to the inside. Now with this one, I did cover that as well. Just be aware, the more you cover here and here, the weaker the magnet gets. So if you want a nice strong click, don't cover it. If you like just the little, you know, it still holds, then go ahead and cover it. So we'll see what we'll do here. So we're going to cover the inside. So let's have a look. Which page? So this might be nice now for the inside, because it's quite plain, so it'll match the front, but a bit plainer. So we're going to cut our sheet at, let's have a look, what did I do in this one? At 5 1/8. Let's see if I can get in here. Maybe if I turn it round, I'll be able to get a bit better. Yes, 5 1/8. Let's check. Would I have been able to get it out of this? No, I wouldn't have got it out of the same sheet. 5 1/8. So my first little one is this main panel, which I've cut at 5. And then 1 7/8. So then it's up to you. You could use that piece to align the inside of your box. But I've just kept this one plain, just used one of the journal cards on the inside. Oh, I don't know why I've put that down yet, because what I'm going to do now is this has got a pocket on it. I'm going to line it up at the bottom of the pocket, and I'll have a little bit of pocket each side. And I'm going to grab my pencil and just mark. I'm going to go this side because there's a little pattern there and I wouldn't be able to see my pencil mark. So I've made a little pencil mark just below the top of the pocket. And I'm going to trim it there. And again, just distress ink around the edge. And you may notice that this pocket actually has a notch cut out of it. I'm actually ignoring the notch. And I'm going to use one of the little journal cards to cover that little gap there. I mean, if you don't mind it, go with that. But I'm going to hide that little gap there. So I'm lining up my paper with the bottom of the pocket. So I'm not leaving any edge there because the pocket is higher than the bottom of my box. So otherwise I'd have black and black again. So that's why I've done this to measure right to the bottom of the pocket, and just that little piece of black each side. And you'll notice I didn't put glue on the paper here, I put the glue on the pocket. And then this is going to line up inside. And tuck it inside and then bring it up so it matches. There we go. And take my Teflon tool and my spine. Just placing that down in place. And now I'm going to choose one of my images, which I've cut out from this 12 by 12 sheet. So I've just cut them out just around the red bits, so I can place them. That's quite a nice one. It'll fill it up nicely, so let's go for that. There we go. And then let's see if we can pick out something to go on this pocket just to hide what we had there. I think this one could go nicely there, and I could back it onto black if I wanted to. I think if I just give it a little bit of a black distress ink border, that should be enough. Maybe another black border might be too much. So now glue only on the bottom half, and I'm just going to put some glue on the edge of the pocket, so that way I know I'm definitely not putting glue too far. So that's then just tidied up that pocket, but you've got a hint of black just to show there is a pocket there. So that's the box then, pretty much finished other than that little strip, which, do you know what, I think I'm just going to finish off now. We'll bring that green around. So let's have a look, what size was it again? It was 5 1/4. And this time I want to cut it at 1 inch. So this is quite hard because I can't hold it down and bring this. Oh, it has happened. It has landed in the right place. But if it does move, what you can do is take some low tack tape and just glue it, stick it down to your board. And I'll just keep it in position whilst you bring your trimmer down onto it. So let's have a look. There we go. So the green all ties in now. So now the box definitely is finished. So it's time to move on to our album. So whilst I was doing my box, my album has had time to dry. So this is now all secure. Make sure I've got it the right way up. So let's draw an arrow upwards. Show this is the way up when I decorate my cover. Now the cover was 5 1/8 by 5 1/8. So I'm just going to cut some 5 by 5 pieces to go on the front. So let's go with this one. Let's go bright. So it's going to be 5. So if I start with it upside down, this will be the front. We can get a pattern continuing all the way around then. So my spine was and go for 1.5. And then another 5 for the back. So by having my paper in the trimmer upside down, what will happen now is it'll wrap around the cover perfectly and have a pattern. So if you've got an image paper, it's just a nice way of making sure everything flows. So you don't add too much bulk to the spine here either with dangle stuff, because it won't fit in the box. So those people who like putting charms and things on the side, maybe this is the time to try leaving them off. Okay. So let's start with the front. Open it up. Then the spine. And the back. And you can see then it goes all the way round in one continuous flow. So you can see the music speaks, goes across just by flipping that paper upside down. And then, of course, the inside covers will also be 5 by 5. So should we go for the back of this? That'll tie nicely with the rest of our box because we've got that creamy colour. So 5 by 5. I just like that note paper, so I'm going to keep that in. Just the edge. Okay, so these now are my 2 inside cover pieces. So I need to think now, do I want to just put them in plain? And what you can do then is, this piece of black card has been cut using my Cool Cats 4x4" photo mat, which comes in the set with the photo slots. So if you haven't seen any Cool Cats dies, they're a British company who produce great dies for album making. So I've got quite a few of them. And I know they're Graphic 45 fans as well. So this piece then is just slightly bigger than 4x4, and I could just put a photo mat there. Alternatively, I could take this die and cut these 4 slots in each corner, and then that photo can be interchanged. So if you want to keep seeing your 4x4, your patterns paper behind, this is a great way of doing it. And I gotta say, these are probably some of my most used dies are my photo slot ones, because it does mean you can put photos in your albums without covering your papers permanently. As I said, you can just do a 4x4 mat and stick it down. Or what I'm going to do today, if I can find it, here we go, is I'm going to cut a slot in my papers. So this die is a Cool Cats one. It's a strip die which cuts out a little thin slot with some pierced edging each side, and you can then tuck things inside. So it's a nice little way. If you haven't got the die, you can just take a craft knife and cut a thin slither away from your papers. And these are pretty good, so I might even be able to cut both of them at the same time. Now, I could measure it. Let's make sure it's straight, is it? The height, I'm not too worried about, but the straightness, I am. And if I even turn it around, it's 5. So 2.5 is the middle. This die has got a little slot, a little notch in the middle, so I can actually line it up in the middle as well. There's 2.5. Genius little ideas. Just that little notch is such a useful thing. So just take them out. So you can keep these and glue them back in if you want to hide your photo slot. I'm not too worried. I quite like the detail. But the only thing you've got to remember with these now is you don't want to add glue to this bottom half, because you won't be able to slot your things in. So add some glue to the top and around the edge. And then you can just cover the glue there. And that just means then that the bottom is open, so you can add some little ephemera pieces in. And it looks like it's wonky because the papers go outwards, but it's not. And again, avoid putting glue on the bottom, but bring it down to the top of your slot. And open up the cover. And it's just a quick way of just adding a space for your photo or your ephemera and being able to change them in and out, in and out. So here's one little place to add some extra papers. And then all the other pages are now going to be cut at exactly the same size. So our pages are 5 inches. So all our papers now are going to be cut at 4 7/8 by 4 7/8. So let's have a look. We've got one to start with here. It might be quite nice to take the cream through to here. So let's go for that. Now this one has got a horizontal pocket. So how are we going to tackle that? So first of all, we're going to cut at 4 7/8. So just less than 5, 4 7/8. And just less than 5, 4 7/8. So our pocket is going to be cut at 1 3/8. So this is the bottom. So I'm going to cut 1 to 3/8 off the bottom. Now, because these pockets have been glued on the edge, you can't tuck your paper straight in. So I'd glue that on the pocket, then this would have to go up a little bit, which I don't want. So I'm going to actually just trim off just a little hair's breadth slither. You can see just a tiny little strip off, and that will mean my pattern continuation will go down nicely and still have that black edge on top. And I'm going to be doing that on each of my pocketed pages, which are already glued into this album. And I always do my pocket first and then make my bigger background piece match to this. So there's my pocket piece, and then this will then go and butt up against the pocket. And match nicely. There we go. So you can see that slither would have been what would have gone there. So it just means your pattern repeat is just a little bit more accurate. So let's move on to page 2. So this has got 2 plain pages. So this is probably where I'd put my paper clip or a little magnetic closure or another photo, little strip. So let's have a look what papers we'll use here. In fact, have I got some? So let's go, yeah, that one. So this is, again, just a 4 7/8 by 4 7/8 piece of patterned paper. Just go around the edge. And I just wondering now, could I get away? Yes, I could use a 4x4 photo slot die here. So you know what? That's what I'm going to do. So I've just lined it up in the middle. So through my die cutting machine, switch around that way around. And if I take this, so this is the photo slot that comes with that die. But of course, you know, you can decorate this page as you want. This is just how I'm doing it. As I go around, I'm just going to avoid where those black bits are because that is my photo mat. So, you know, if you glue that, you're not going to be able to take your photo in and out. And I'm leaving that photo mat in there because it'll train my paper to be lifted in the corners to be able to put my photo in. Let's just take my Teflon tool again. And I've cut slots in here, but I've only got one of those photo. Have I got some spare black card? Yes, I have. So let's cut out another one of these. So this would be great just stuck on because it's got a nice little pierced edge detail. So let's drop this in. And then that is a way of adding a 4x4 photo without losing your papers. And if you do change your mind and want a different photo, you could just pull it out swap it for another one. So here we go. So we've got 2 little photo slots there. But this one flips up and we've got 2 pages here. This one's got a vertical pocket, this one's got a horizontal. So I can cover that exactly as I did with that one. So I think I'll just do that once I'm off camera because I want to show you this piece. So this now is the middle of our album. We've got this pocket with a notch cut out. So how are you going to tackle that one? I think this is a 5x7, a 5 7/8. Yes. Am I going to go for that one? I haven't got a matching one for that. And I'd like to go across these 2 pages matching. So let's have a look at what pages we can have. That's not going to be as... Let's go for this one then. That'll look quite nice going across the 2 pages because they're, there's no gap between these pages. It's just a little spine there. So again, 5 7/8. Sorry, 4 7/8. By 4 7/8. So there's one, and the other one, 4 7/8. Oh, I won't bother inking that one yet. So I'm going to glue this one on. This is going to go on the left. So what I'd probably do here is probably add a little tuck spot or something, because I'm not going to use a paper clip because it's pointless because we've already got a photo space this side. So you could do that and just glue in the L shape so you can tuck it in. Or I will have later on a little magnetic little closure I could use. Right, so let's have a look at this one. So this is going to go here, but I've got that little notch. So what I'm going to do is line it up where it's going to be glued and try and hold it in place there and close it. Now you could use your low tack tape. I'm just going to hold it for now just for speed, and I'm going to take my pencil and just trace around that notch. So what I've got then, this is the front, and then the back has got where that notch is. So I could just take a scissors now and cut that out, or if you've got a 1 3/8 of an inch circle punch, turn it upside down, have a look for that pencil line, line it up just a bit further up. So you've got your pencil line and a little border and punch. And now that should fit onto your album page perfectly. So a 1 3/8 of an inch circle punch has cut that notch, so I can line it up nicely there. It's probably not as easy to see on this because it's a black paper on black cardstock. Probably a good idea as well in case you're a little bit off. But I'll show you in my Make a Splash one what it looks like. So here is my 1 3/8 circle punch there, and there. So then that would be how to cover that page, and do exactly the same. So you put it on there, flip it over, draw around, and punch out. This page would then just be another plain 4 by 7/8, as with this one. Then the other side is the same. So this is probably where I would use one of my covered paper clips. So if you haven't seen these, just have a look on my channel. Just type in Paul Ford paperclip in YouTube and it should come up. So I could use that then to hold some papers. And then this one is another vertical one. So I'd do my 4 7/8 piece of paper, cut off 1.5 inches. Oh, sorry, no, sorry, 1 3/8 inches on that one. Trim off a little tiny bit, but you can't get underneath, and finish that off. Same on this one, another plain one, so you could use your slots, your magnet closures. What I've got here are 2 of the sticker sheets, and I've just mounted them onto some black cardstock. And what you can do is stick one at the top with a bit of glue on the top, one on the bottom with some glue on the bottom, and then you can slide a photo in of it bigger in there. So there's lots of ways you can then just go to town decorating your album. So I'm going to go off and have some fun. Oh, I found my magnet closure. So I've made this using some more Cool Cats dies. They were originally designed to be brad closures, and you get 3 different shapes. So I've used the shield shape with Enchanted Forest, and I've used this one, but there's also a ticket shaped one, which I've used with a Come One, Come All as well. So they really do match your G45 papers. So this time I used this one, which has sort of got a label shape to it. So I cut 2 of the main one out of black cardstock, and then this one is your decorative panel. So I cut it out of one of my scraps, which just happened to fit in nicely with love notes in the middle. There is a magnet underneath that one, and then I've trimmed off down this score line on one of the black pieces, and then just sort of hinged one around. So one of them's complete, and then folded over, and then tuck the under one underneath, and then there's another magnet in the back. And what I've done then is just stuck it down, so you've got a lifting flap like so. But I'm sure I've done these in other videos, and definitely in a video I've got coming up how to do these in a bit more detail. And then I could just glue that onto there. Actually, let's do it. Okay, so I'm going to go off now, and I'm just going to finish off this album, and I'll come back, I'll have tidied up, and it'll all be done. See you in a bit. So here we are. I've got my pretty much finished project done. I've added quite a lot of decorations and some more places for photos. And I've still got all these stickers left. I've still got all these full 12 by 12 sheets of paper left. So plenty left over to do another project. And that's without all the offcuts I've also got. But I have got some extra pieces left over from some of the decorations. So I thought I'd put these to use as well. And in a recent video by Carla Lavera for Graphic 45, in one of the club projects, she made some little photo wallets or little photo places to put into small albums. So I thought I'd have a little go at them, but make them so they fit 3 by 4 photos. So I've got this one, which is left over from one of my vertical pieces. So I'm going to cut this one at 4 1/4. I was just looking to see if I can get that love note in. So I'm going to actually bring it over a little bit more. So took off a little bit just so I could keep that in. So 4 1/4 by 9 3/4. I like the bottom, so I'm going to see if I can get it in this side. 9 3/4. And I'm not decapitating that cherub. Good. So I'm just going to bring in my scoreboard. And I'm going to score it every 3 1/4 inches. So it's 3 1/4 and 6 1/2. That leaves me another 3 1/4 there. What I'm going to do is going to fold it into a zigzag. I'm going to bring my corner around it, and actually I'm going to reverse it, I think. I'm going to do it this way. And you'll see why in a second. Because we could cover that up with one of our leftover toppers, which I've put away for now, like so. And then when you open it up, you've still got all that sheet showing. Or do we want it so that that is the front? Up to you. You could do it either way, couldn't we? But what I am going to do is take my small, it's a 4mm circle punch or corner punch, and I'm going to punch each corner. And on the folded pieces, see, I've already done this. Fold and punch. This one I'm just going to fold it up for now. So each of these panels now are 4 1/4 by 3 1/4, which means you'll be able to put your 4 by 3 photo on and still have a little bit of the paper showing. So if I did it like that, when you open it up, you'd have 2 photo spaces there and 3 on the back. Or if you wanted to have that paper showing, you could just put your photo that side and put an image there. And again, you can take your distress ink and just take away and add some ink to the edges. It does make quite a bit of a difference. I suppose you see it when you haven't done it more than once you have, because you get used to doing it. So there we go with one 3 by 4 inch photo mat to go into our album. And then I've also got this one, which is a horizontal one. So I'm going to make a horizontal version now. So I'm going to keep it at 12 inches long and cut it at 3 1/4 tall. So 3 1/4. And I'm going to place it upside down into my scoreboard, and I'm going to score it at 3 1/2 and 7 3/4. So this now is going to be my 3 1/2 piece, coming this way, and then my 4 pieces are going to come in. So I'm going to just take it into there and score it away outwards like that, so it doesn't impinge on that hinge bit there. And again, I'm going to take my small corner rounder, just adds a little bit of detail, so it doesn't look like just a square piece of paper put in. And this end piece. You've got the lovely red inside here. So I think I'm going to ink the inside and the outside this time. I think this is the album equivalent of watching paint dry, watching edges being inked, especially when you've got two sides to do. But it does just finish off your project nicely. Here we go. And so there you've got a 3x4 and 3x4 photo space. You can fold that over, and then I've misplaced all my toppers now when I was tidying up afterwards. But you can take, there's plenty of toppers left on that topper sheet. You can cut out like that. And on this one then, it just overlaps that little edge there. So you can bring it down to there. In fact, let's go for that one then. So I'm going to put some glue on the edge there. And then around the three edges here. So let's place that there. So that's another cute little spot. And you can then take this a little bit further with some of the offcuts you've got. You could stick a piece there and just glue the bottom and the two sides, make it into pockets. Do little tuck spots onto these as well. Just you don't want them too thick so they don't fit into your album. So let's go ahead and let's add these in. So actually, let's do a big reveal. So here's the box. I see I've just added sticky sheet. I've added an extra couple of cut out roses as well, just to add a bit more red to the top right. We finished off the edges and we did that on camera. Then you open it up, you've got your photo space here, so you could put one of these in there, and you can then take out your album from your album in a box. I've just stuck some flat pieces onto this. I haven't used any 3D foam on this. I have on my box cover, but not on the album, just so that it fits in nicely into the box. And you open it up, so you've got a nice plain piece over here, which you can tuck one of these into. Probably not the best colour choices or colourways with this one, because it just camouflages in, but just for you to get the idea. These also fit nicely in here. So that was already a pocket on, so I didn't do anything there, just straightforward decorating. These were with our removable photo slots. And then I've just taken, so this is where that vertical piece came from, because I used a pattern continuation that way. So I was able to get a vertical piece then from one of those bits. Then we open it up. We've got a little magnet closure, which I showed you earlier. So this could be a place to put one of those. But I'd probably put it then underneath that flap like that. Then you've got your notched pocket, which we used our punch to get a nice even finish. And a plain one there. I could add a second, you could stick one of these on even, so you've got something which opens up. That would actually tie in nicely because it does sort of work there. Now this one, these black photo mats, which are slightly bigger than 4x4, have been stuck on this time. And these were from the sticker sheet, just mounted onto some black card and cut out. And I've put some 3D foam on these. Now, I've done it, you could do it on this one because they're separate signatures, so you've got a space in between. I wouldn't do this here with the 3D foam because the hinge is right there. There's no gap between the pages. But with this one, there was a gap between the two pages, so I was able to add 3D foam. Then the Cool Cats slots that I used in the cover also have these semicircle ones, the curved ones. So I've used a curved one here, which would be nice to put something like this in. Is it slightly too big? No, it fits nicely there. And then that pocket was on it. And this again is a pocket page. So I wouldn't use a paper clip there because it would keep the pocket shut, unless that's what you're after. So I kept my paper clip for this page. So I had the pattern continuation going all the way across here. And this is just a single page. So I thought, oh, perfect for a covered paper clip. And then, of course, that would work for both sides. So let's pop that there as well. And then at the end, another one of those photo slots, which you saw me do. So that's a quick little run through of how the album turned out. So thank you for watching, for joining me for my Graphic 45. Oh yeah, I didn't actually glue that on. That was just placed. So thank you for joining me on my Graphic 45 journey and for my latest project. So that is how to use the album in a box in a different way. So if you've already had one or you're going to get one and you were originally going to stick it on, you've now got an alternative way of doing one. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you all again soon.